Hello, and welcome to Insightful Conversations with your host, Three Principles practitioner, Adey-Jones. Join her each week as she welcomes some of the world's leading Three Principles teachers and practitioners who share how this understanding has dramatically improved the quality of their lives and the lives of those they work with.
I'm so happy to be joined today by the lovely Sheela Masand. In Sheila's own words, she accidentally bumped into the Three Principles in 2010 and has been on a continually juicy exploration of life ever since. She's been organising retreats and training courses in Spain since 2012 for teachers such as Jack Pransky. Plus, she is the co-founder and co-organiser of the annual Viva event, which is now in its 5th year. Sheela loves to help people do what they love to do right now, and that takes the form of coaching them to grow their businesses and practices, something she's been doing for the past 10 years. She has 2 beautiful grown-up daughters and relishes the sunshine, beach, and nature where she lives in Spain. Hi, Sheela. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Del. Thank you for the invitation. It's great.
Yeah, it's lovely. Well, you live very close to my sister, actually. She lives between Ibiza and Javier. So that's just up the coast.
Yeah, just up the road.
Yeah, and I was just there this summer visiting. So I love that you bumped into the principles. Can you tell me how you bumped into them?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, really, exactly.
I wasn't looking for the 3 principles, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to have been on an email list of a gentleman by the name of Jamie Smart.
Oh, yeah.
Who because I had trained in NLP and coaching, and I've had many years, as many people do, of searching and looking for and self-improvement and personal development. Ended up on Jamie Smart's list, and one day an email dropped into my email box with the headlines that said, "If the secret's so great, show me the money." And the secret being at that time something about the law of attraction. There was the movie out, and the book was out, and yes, I tried some of the law of attraction techniques and nothing seemed to be bringing the money my way. So I was instantly hooked and curious, what was it he was talking about? And basically what he was doing was selling a 2-day recording on a DVD set. So I ordered it, it landed, watched it, sat down here in Spain and watched the 2 days. And it sounded like a lot of what I already knew. And I knew there was something different, and I wasn't 100% sure what that was yet. I kind of could sense there was something here he's pointing to that, as I say, I wasn't quite understanding. Apart from the one thing that I really heard clearly was thought creates feeling, which I'd heard before. I mean, I've trained to be a Louise Hay teacher, and the NLP, so I knew a lot about the sort of thought-feeling connection. But what was really different in what he was saying was it only works one way 100% of the time. And it was this 100% of the time that got me curious. Like, okay, yeah, I know money doesn't bring happiness. I understand that, because he talked quite a bit about that over the 2 days, you know. But he was talking about where our security came from, really, truly, where real security comes from. And I definitely was seeing it, that I needed money to feel secure. Yeah. That was definitely in my belief system, if you like, or it's something I just took for granted. It's like people talk about freedom and security, money bringing you financial freedom, and I just took that as being true. It never occurred to me that it couldn't be true. And so he did a lot of pointing to the fact that that just is not true. There is no way that can be true. So that really, you know, piqued my interest, got me curious. And 2010, there was very little around apart from, in terms of resources, not like there is now. There's tons. Yes. He said in this DVD, he said in the recording that he was going to be holding more of these 2-day events in London, And at the time, I turned to my partner and said, the next time he does one of these, I'm going to go. I'm going to go over to London. I don't know why. It was just like, I'm going to go.
Wow.
And I did. And then I
Yeah.
went to the next one, and then I went to the next one. So I kind of did 3 in a row. And he was pointing to the same thing over and over again, the 3 principles. But I, for some reason, just wanted to be in the room with him when he was talking about it. It was really weird.
So I mean, what you're sharing there, I think is, I would say that a vast majority of people believe that there has to be some financial stability to bring them, you know, a feeling of well-being. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I know you're a business coach, and I'm sure a lot of your clients come and they're just like, well, how do I make more money so I can feel better and more secure? So how do you, what you learned then, how do you share that understanding with your clients?
The truth is, I don't always share that understanding with my clients. I mean, the truth is, I would say 99% of my clients already have an understanding of the principles. And so I don't have to share the understanding. But it's very curious, isn't it, that even though we have some understanding of how life works, that it's an inside-out job and it only works one way 100% of the time, we forget that so much. So I suppose what I'm doing really is I'm on an exploration with them as to why is it they can't see that if they can't see it. Why is it that I can't see it a lot of the time still? You know, that's the truth. I mean, there's many times I fall back into forgetting, misunderstanding, and thinking, oh look, my bank account's telling me something. I need to do something about, you know, more money and bringing more income in. And then somewhere along the line, I remember, oh, it doesn't work that way. And I wake up again, and that's the beauty of this, isn't it? That I mean, for me, that's the simplicity and the beauty of seeing that it's only one way somewhere along the line. And when you've seen this, somewhere along the line, if you forget, which that's part of the human condition, that we do forget that it works this way. And somewhere along the line, we wake up and we remember again. And I mean, that's what I love about this, is that once we've seen it, we can't forget it forever. It's impossible. Might forget it for a while, for a minute, for 2 days, for 10 weeks, who knows? But we've seen it and we understand it and we realize that that's the way it works. You can't ever forget that. I suppose maybe if you have Alzheimer's, you might forget it, but you know, normal, under normal circumstances, whatever that means, really. We can't forget that. We can't forget it.
And I think it's just, I often look at, you know, I've got this, well, you grew up in England, yes?
Yes,
exactly. So I sometimes think that life is like this sort of a game of snakes and ladders, and you know, the ladders are when, you know, we're very, you know, we're conscious, we're aware of, you know, this understanding and the nature of life and how it works, and then all of a sudden we just like hit something and we're like down that chute again, and we forget. We go to sleep for a little bit. And then we wake up and go, oh yeah, this is the game of life. And then we just start rolling the dice again and just making our way around that board. So it helps me know that it's not permanent. It's just a moment where you forget. You just go down that chute and then you get to the bottom. You're like, oh, okay, woke up again. Where have I been for a little while? So it's very funny. So I want to talk about the Viva event. How did you come to be organizing and founding and organizing this incredible event, which I'm very excited. I'm going to be visiting in
fabulous that you're coming to join us this year.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Well, it's an interesting story. It kind of goes back a few years. I mean, we're in our 5th year this year of actually holding the Viva event. I'm just smiling at the photos that are going up there. I love that picture, Judy. That was last year. It was a few years ago, and you know, in London they've been holding the conference this year. They had their 10th year anniversary. We have our 5th, and I had been to the conference a couple of times, and talked to people who'd been and who were there, and saying how much we really enjoyed being there, and I suppose we saw it very, very repetitive in terms of, this is no criticism.
No, exactly.
It's just we were just exploring ideas for something different. We noticed that they were very repetitive in terms of who they had speaking at the conference. And so it started, sort of the seed of an idea started forming, started growing, I suppose. Well, could we create something here in Albir in Spain? Could we create something that was more European based? Because most of the speakers seem to be coming over from the States. So we said, you know, there are more and more people here in Europe that are hearing the principles and sharing the principles in their localities. Could we do something to sort of help them have a stage, have a voice, and show that this is happening over here in Europe? And that's kind of how it started.
Wow.
We definitely talked to, when Rudy and Jenny were together, the Three Principles Movies couple that started that site. We talked to them, and at one point they were going to be involved. And I say we because I was with my partner at the time, Mark, who was one of the co-founders of this, and then he dropped out after a couple of years. And Sue Pankowicz, who is now my partner in crime in the Viva event, who happens to be Jenny's auntie, she was involved as well. And somehow it ended up being the three of us. We just said, what would this look like? And we started talking about, could we do this? I looked for venues here where I live in Spain, Albir. Looked for a venue, started talking about who we would invite to speak, looking to see if it was a viable proposition in terms of finances, what would it take? You know, the usual sort of things that you look at when you're creating a project. And we thought, do you know what? We talked to a few people that we thought about inviting. Most people seemed to think it was a really good idea. So we thought, you know what, let's just go for it. Let's give it a go. What's the worst thing that can happen? We might lose some money, and none of us wanted to lose any money. But I know, having, you know, created events with Jack a couple of years previously, I had some experience of that already. So I had that under my belt. And it was like, well, let's just give it a go. And just really grateful. It from year one, it had I suppose it had the flavor, it had the essence, it had the energy of being full of love and joy. And, you know, that picture that's coming up now on the screen, that's kind of, for me, I shared that because that's how I feel about Viva. People are just having a wonderful, wonderful time together. Connection, that's a good word as well. People connecting, enjoying hanging out together. So not only coming along and listening to speakers on the stage, speakers in breakout rooms, but meeting new friends, meeting up with old friends, connecting and having a lot of fun. And we also, with the Viva event, and we called it an event on purpose because we didn't want people to think about it as a conference. So people still label it as, it's just kind of a habit, you know, people talk about the conference. But we saw it as an event because we wanted it not to be people sitting on chairs all day listening to speakers. We wanted people to be involved, and we wanted people to have a joyful time. We wanted people to have fun. We wanted people to think of this as an event and an experience. And, you know, it was lovely last year to hear, we had Linda Ramus come as a guest last year. Some people might not know who Linda is, but she worked for, I think it was Santa Clara County in California for years and years. She's retired now, but she came over as a participant, and she said to us, and she's lovely, she's lots of fun, and she said to us, you know, you tell people this is an event, this is not an event. And we're like, what do you mean? Said, this is one big party.
You know, it's so
funny.
funny.
Like, yeah, she's got, you know, she's
got it.
This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted, and it just has become known as a really, really fun event.
I love that, because some people say, you know, I go to the London conference, and I'm thinking here, you know, like, we've actually had great weather the last couple of years in London at the conference. But usually, you know, they're thinking, okay, rainy London conference, sunny Spain, you know, lovely.
Exactly.
So definitely a destination. Really But I always also say that, you know, it's the best party ever in town is when you get a bunch of three people together, because everybody's so chilled out, everybody's so happy, and it's just infectious. So it's that's amazing. So I've heard amazing things about it. I'm very excited. I'm going to be coming this year. So tell us a bit about some of the speakers, because I know that Natasha Swerdloff is going to be one of the speakers. And
I mean, as I say, it's interesting because in the beginning, we didn't think about having the big speakers from America. It was always going to be sort of homegrown, if you like.
Yeah.
And very interestingly, not last year we had Judy, the year before, a couple of years ago, let's say maybe 3 years ago, Elsie Spittle got in touch with us and said that she would love to come to Viva.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh,
wow.
Okay. That's interesting. So she, the thing about the Viva event, because it's very homegrown, I mean, we don't offer lots of expenses to people. We don't offer them, to fly them over, because that was never the idea. The idea was that it was going to be a homegrown sort of peer-to-peer sort of event. So that was news to us. Elsie wanted to come and be part of it. And then she had such a great time, and she talked to us about the old days, with Sid Banks, the founder of the Three Principles, the uncoverer, if you like, of the Three Principles. This is what it used to be like in the old days, because we, not to give any secrets away, but you've seen photos and maybe seen some videos. We do like to incorporate music and dancing, and we always have a surprise or two up our sleeves, to help the fun along, if you like. But she loved the whole atmosphere of this is how it used to be in the old days.
Lovely.
We used to have singing, we used to be dancing, and I think she went back and back to Canada, and she spread the word a bit, and then other people have started, sort of the big names from American Canada that we weren't looking to.
Yes.
Are now saying, we would like to come over. We'd like to be part of this. So we never thought about inviting people. As I say, people are paying for their own way to come here. But then we thought, do you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So we extended an invitation to Dick in Bettinger. We extended invitations to Linda and Bill Pettit.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm saying that is they accepted our invitation, and they're going to be here with us this year. Wonderful. We've had Jack Pransky with us for the past 5 years, because basically I've been organising retreats for him since 2012, and we actually, that's right, I forgot about that. We actually organised Viva to be around the time of his retreat, so that so he could be there. Gabriela Maldonado Montano could be here with us as well, because she runs a retreat with him, leads the retreat with him. So they'll be here. And so that people who come to the retreat can also stay on for Viva. It just makes sense when people are here. So that's how it's been. And as you said, we've got Natasha Swerdloff, Linda Ramus, who came last year as a guest. We invited her to come as a speaker this year, so she accepted, which is delightful. Liliana Bellini, who's probably not so well known, but she lives in the UK, is Italian. I don't know if you want me to name more the speakers. I can go on and on and on. So, I think there are 20 of us all together.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. That's really great. So do you see this growing, or, I mean, it seems like it's catching on all around the world. It's
catching on. People ask us that question, and the truth is we don't want it to get too big.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want it to be the 1,000 people conference.
Exactly.
And Sue and I have both more or less agreed that 150 would be the maximum that we would want to be with us. Yeah. Because it's got a this essence of a big party and a family feel. We want to keep that. That's a trait of Viva, and we don't want it to get any bigger than that.
So you've got to get your ticket. Yeah. Are there still tickets available for people?
There are still some tickets available. We haven't hit the 150 mark yet. So,
and the dates are November.
2nd to the 4th of November. Yes. So it's a Saturday, a Sunday, and a Monday.
Yeah. Wonderful. Great. So, what else do you want to share with our listeners? What else is going on in your life?
Oh, that's a big question.
Is it? I mean, do you hold any other workshops or any? How do people get in touch with you?
I mean, as I say, we've got Jack and Gabriella coming. I mean, it's Jack Pransky's very last year of work.
That's right.
Year.
Yeah.
He's officially retiring at the end of the year. So as I say, he was the one, bless him. He's the one that actually got me going in terms of creating events. It wasn't something I looked for. It wasn't something that was part of my, vision for my business or anything like that. It was only because when I first came across the principles in 2010, as I said, there were very few resources.
Yeah.
And I was already coaching, and I was struggling to I couldn't see how to introduce the principles to my clients. And so the idea came to me to interview some of the teachers. So okay, I can interview them, and then I can share the interviews with my clients. So that's basically what I did. I reached out to some people that I knew, like Jenny and Rudy, Jamie Smart, who, as I say, he was my first introduction to the principles. And then Jack Bransky I reached out to, and I did interview him a couple of times. And when I first talked to him, he said to me, I'd love to come to Spain.
Yeah.
And I took that with a pinch of salt, because I speak to a lot of people, and a lot of people tell me that too. They say, I'd love to come to Spain, and I say, oh, yeah, cool. So it's a very common comment. So I didn't take it seriously. And then my friend, who is then my client as well, Katya Simon, who's now part of the organisation, through the team that hosts the retreat with Jack here, she decided she wanted to translate Jack's book, Somebody Should Have Told Us, into German. She's German. And so she talked to him, and then she contacted me and said, Sheela, do you know that Jack wants to come to Spain? And I was like, yeah, I know, you mentioned it. No, he really wants to come, Sheela. He's serious, he really wants to come. And I was like, okay, what do you want to do about it? And she said, well, shall we talk to him? So that's what we did. We had a chat, and then we started talking about what we could do together. And that's how that started in 2012.
That's so funny. So, he loves to travel.
He loves to travel.
He does.
Yeah,
I went to
You've been to Peru with him, haven't you?
I did the Peru one, exactly. And then he was saying he was going to be retiring, and I'm like, well, what about all those other fabulous locations you haven't been to yet? So we made a little mental list of, well, Bali maybe, and the Caribbean, and other places he might hold these, just come out of retirement just to have a retreat here and there. So
I bet he would do that.
I think he would
for the retreats and the places that he's never been to and on his bucket list. But apart from that, he says he's not doing anything else.
No, I know. So that's great. So tell me, give me something that you leave your clients with, that just if you could just boil it down into an essence. If people do say to you, how have the principles impacted your life, and how can they impact mine? People want to know what they're going to, how it's going to affect them.
Yeah, well, as you pointed out, my coaching niche, if you like, is business. So I suppose what I'm seeing more and more is how this, you mentioned it earlier on, the metaphor of a game, the snakes and ladders. It's like, what if this really is a game?
Yeah.
What if we don't have to have anything on it? What if we can just try stuff and see what happens? What if we don't have to be scared of anything? What if, and one of the things that I'm really seeing more and more clearly for myself is this, truth, I was going to say notion, but the truth that all feelings are valid. All feelings are valid. And I feel like we've been tricked into thinking that the only feelings we should be having are the good feelings, the happiness, the joy, the contentment, the blissed out, all the good stuff. And that's what took me on my path of self-improvement, of personal development, only to find out I've been duped. that actually it's okay to feel anything. Exactly. I mean, that's one of my favorite quotes of Sid Banks, is if the only thing that people could see was not to be afraid of their experience, that alone would change the world.
Yeah, my favorite too. Oops.
Yeah, and that's and that includes business.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if we feel downhearted, or even if we feel frightened, that's not a reason not to go for something. That's not a reason to not go for our dreams. If we have an idea and we're excited about something, and then the fear comes in, now it's like, well, do we have to take that seriously?
Yeah.
Is that telling us not to do it? So I suppose the message is, let's just not take these feelings as indicators that we're doing something wrong, or that we don't have to do something. For me, it's about embracing. It's like the old paradigm was change it, and the new paradigm for me feels like, let's just embrace it all. I think for me, we're here for, it just seems really clear for me at the moment that we're here to experience life to its fullest. And it's like how many flavors of ice cream are there? Like each flavor is a different feeling, and human beings are here to feel.
Yeah.
So let's not be afraid of what we're feeling.
Yeah, I feel that too, exactly. It's like I don't think we would have been created with the ability to feel the wide range of emotions we have if any of them were wrong. It's just insanity to judge them. But
Yeah.
you know what? We are actually, time flies, so we're coming to the end. So just share your website again, and also the Viva event, so people can sign up for that.
Well, the Viva event is simple, thevivaevent.com. As I said, we do still have some tickets. There's loads of information on that site.
Yeah, it's
tons
fabulous.
of information. Yeah, there was videos to watch as well from past Viva events. We've got a YouTube channel as well where you can find videos. We've got a Facebook page as well, and we've just found Instagram, so we're just playing around with Instagram as well, trying to move ourselves. Sue and I, being these near middle-aged women, trying out new technology. It's quite fun. We have a lot of fun together, trying new things out. We kind of have that motto that we're going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And then my personal website, I can see there's Baby Johnson under mine. Mine's my name, SheelaMasand.com. So SHEELA. And I'm on Facebook. I'm more on Facebook than anywhere.
All right,
you can
wonderful.
Find me, Sheela Masand, as well.
Well, I can't wait to see you again in November. I'm very excited, and I think I'm going to be bringing my sister. So,
lovely.
It's going to be wonderful. So, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to be with us
very
and
welcome.
Share everything. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Great. Thanks a lot to you, Del, too.
And you too. Bye-bye.